now, with his take on all of this, is a legend of the criminal bar, host of the podcast Reasonable Doubt and Two Angry Men, Mark Geragos. Mark, thank you for coming on. It's good to see you once again.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Is the Goldman family ever actually going to see any of this money?
No, they're not. It reminds me, I have good friends who a lot of times go to trial against defendants who don't have a deep pocket, basically. That it's a trial to get to a verdict, get a huge verdict. And I always ask them, what is the point? And they say, well, it's great marketing. And, okay, I got it. In this case, the agreement that the amount is $58 million, as the Goldman said and filed, it's really meaningless because there's nothing there. I mean, the IRS is going to take their share, and they're going to be first in line. And after they take their share with penalties and interest, there's going to be absolutely nothing left. So it's unfortunate because the Goldmans did get a verdict. I remember that case well. Dan Petruccelli was the one who tried it. That kind of vaulted Dan into his career with that verdict, but it's not collectible in the least.
Why the 180 then? I mean, it seems the executor was like, I'm not paying anything. And then, okay, we'll agree to the $58 million claim. Is that because they know there's nothing to pay out?
Yeah, I was going to say, can I preface this with wild speculation?
You can preface that definitely with wild speculation.
Okay, let me preface it with wild speculation. Because the money's run out and the executive probably thought to himself, why am I fighting this? There's nothing left to pay me, let alone them. What's the point?
Honestly, it makes sense to me. I can't say for sure. That seems like reasonable, wild speculation. I do have a question, though. What about the pension? What about selling off memorabilia? Is there more money somewhere? Is there more money they could look at? Or is this more a symbolic win? Is this saying this is an acknowledgement, the debt is going to be paid off, even if it's $1 coming from OJ to Goldman, that says something?
Well, I could think of some ways. I don't represent the Goldmans, have no connection to them, but I can think of a lot of ways that they could try to monetize this, and not the least of which is to maybe own the IP. There would be a bitter irony, however, that if they somehow got possession of the IP, that the person that they are promoting for the rest of time and death is the person who they believe ended up killing their loved one. But that is one way, and you can monetize people after their death, and a lot of times that's a way to do it. As far as the pension, that's a lot more complicated, and that has to do with who gets to inherit that, how does that run, and that's an NFL pension, and they've got rules that were collectively bargained for, which, by the way, is one of the reasons that he moved to Florida in the first place, because for the protection, the bankruptcy protection back then.
You raise a larger point that I want to get to generally about collecting civil judgments, particularly with celebrity figures. I'll put that to the side for a second. The IP is really interesting. I wonder if that is something that could be negotiated. And look, usually we talk about IP with very memorable, very positive people. If it's Elvis, if it's Marilyn Monroe, right? I guess they could get it and just make sure his name, image, and likeness are always portrayed in the most negative fashion possible and make money off of that. I guess that's an aspect, yeah.
I mean, they could even make it if they wanted to license it, or if they were to negotiate the intellectual property and then license it out. They could restrict the ways that it's licensed and how they monetize the licensing for good, bad, or ugly. I mean, that's whoever's got possession, lawful possession of the licensing in the name and likeness has that ability. It would not surprise me in the least at the end of the day if there is no cash to write a check or a significant amount of cash to write a check, that they do that. And as far as the memorabilia, remember, that was one of the reasons, as you just said in the package that started this off, that got him, OJ had that claim of right defense that failed, but somebody was selling off his memorabilia. So there's an irony there as well.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.